Hi everyone, it's Renny Borg from Champions Everywhere again, and I have a little video here attached to an article on our website just about reviewing your training. I will apologize ahead of time for my voice. As you can hear, it's a little bit huskier than usual, courtesy of a small cold that my children have gifted me. What I wanted to show here is not a big long video about reviewing every aspect of training, but just kind of giving an example of how you can use a bit of basic information in a training plan to see, once you've actually executed the workout, did I hit the mark? Did I actually put the type of stress and the level of stress in the body that I was hoping to? So that over time you can start to notice trends that as you look back on a week you say, wow, actually out of the 7 workouts I had in the last 10 days, I missed the mark 4 times. So I have some bad training habits that I need to kick. Maybe I'm always training too easy on myself. That's unusual though in my experience. Or it may more likely be that you're always training a bit too hard, or you're training the wrong kind of hard. You know, you're hitting the wrong zones, or just consistently trying to push forward too quickly. So let's have a quick look here. You should be able to see a view here of a mock-up training plan I've created for myself. You can see here a workout. I'll zoom in a little bit so Excel will work with us. So we can see here we have a fartlek on Thursday the 18th of January. That was yesterday for me. It's a general speed workout, 45 minutes consisting of 10 minutes of 30-30, which is 30 minutes very fast and 30 minutes just kind of floating. On undulating trails. Then there's some more details for me down here. 124 to 154 heart rate, just quite a wide range, but that's obviously because it is a fartlek. RP 2 to 6. We've got power, so that's for those who use power meters like Stride. The power rating is estimated to be 159 to 255, etc., etc., and roughly maybe the system expects me to run about 7.6 kilometers. That's actually not the most important part of it for the purposes of this video, but just to see what we're comparing with, let's go here to Chrome and let's go into 2 tools that I use and that I know a lot of runners are using as well. So we've got Training Peaks here, and so you can see in Training Peaks a calendar, and on the calendar here there's the run from yesterday. So you can see, unfortunately I messed up a little bit and I split it in 2. I split it into the warm-up and the workout itself, and then the cool-down, which you can see here, which was a mile of 11 minutes. Now when that happens, what I'm going to do now gets a little bit more complicated, so it's actually good that we can see it as an example, because probably a good few of you do the same. You split the warm-up and the cool-down away from the main workout, because it tends to be cleaner to look at the main workout in isolation, because when you get, it's hard to look at things like average paces when you get warm-ups and cool-downs in there, because they're just so slow. So we can see here the great thing about Training Peaks, and why I'm using that as an example, is you can actually enter what was planned in this left hand column here versus what was completed. So completed is automatically loaded in, so again that's a nice time saver. This is all synced in from Garmin in my case, or whatever you're using. I entered the planned duration as 34 minutes and I completed 21:19. Now some of you who paid a lot of attention might be saying, whoops, didn't you have 45 minutes planned? Yeah, so let me just explain that really quickly. I had 45 minutes planned in my workout, but because I messed up and I split these 2. See if I can close down this window here. Okay, it's acting up for me. That's typical when you're on air. Now there we go. So if I click the cool-down, it's 11 minutes. And the other thing I'm looking at is what here is called an RTSS. That's something that is calculated by Training Peaks. It means the Running Training Stress Score. You will see something very similar in a moment in this other tool here called Stride's Power Center, which is something you can use if you have a Stride power meter. So I'll show that in a moment. They also have an RSS, a Running Stress Score, which is a different way of looking at it. But basically it's a very interesting calculation that measures the stress on the body by looking at how much time did you spend at various training intensities relative to what they call your functional threshold pace, but for your purposes you can think of it kind of as very close to your anaerobic lactate threshold. For most people it's their 1 hour maximum steady state type of running, as Lydiard would have called it back in the day. That's something you find out via a test, and that's why it's quite a precise number, because it will look at, well, if you're running 10 minutes but at a much faster pace than your best effort for 1 hour, then that's a certain level of stress on the body, etc., etc. So it's a real thing, it's not just a random number. So in this case, what I do when I split a workout by accident is I just, for the cool down, I just take that off my goal and I say, well, I had 11 minutes completed, so I had 11 planned. 12 of my running stress score were done in this warm-up, and I planned 12 because it allows me then to see on the main workout, which we'll go to now, so I'll close this down, whether I got the rest of what I had actually planned, the rest of those 45 minutes, did I get them done, and how was the running stress, because you can see in our plans we actually calculate this as well. So down here it says that the expected stress of this fartlek is a stress score of 46. So just so you have another number to compare that with, if I ran 1 hour at my very, very best effort, the score would be 100, right? So that's kind of the index. So in a way you can say that the stress of this workout would be about 46% as hard on my body as if I ran 1 hour all out. So that's what I'm looking for. So I already used 12 of these 46 in my warm-up, that leaves me 34, and I used 11 minutes, that leaves me 4 minutes to do, but I didn't actually do that. And the good thing about Training Peaks is, you can see I had planned 34, I only did 21, so it immediately puts the whole workout in yellow, just to show something is not quite right here. If I had a set distance target or anything else, pace, etc., I could enter that as well, and the system would, show me where I might have fallen short or done it differently. But I didn't have that because this was a fartlek, it was on trail, it was early season, so I wasn't actually having that precise goals, it wasn't really realistic. I just wanted to time on the feet, and I wanted to hit a certain training score. So you can see my planned running training score was 34, and I completed 32. So that's what was reminders. If we put those two together, I basically did 44 out of a planned 46. So in this case it's slightly yellow, but this would mean it's roughly what I had planned. So I don't need to go crazy now and go out on the Friday where I hadn't planned to run and do a lot extra to catch up on those 11 minutes I lost, because running stress score wise, it's actually only 2 off. So that means that maybe because I had a bit of the cold, this was a little bit more stressful on my body yesterday than expected. So it means I did 44 out of 46. Don't make a habit maybe of falling short, but I won't be going out doing another workout today. So that's how you can very simply use a running stress score or a tool like Training Peaks to see how did it compare. But really, it doesn't matter so much whether you have the stress score. What matters is that you go and you do this comparison regularly, and you don't just blindly execute the training. You can use Stride Power Center as well if you're one of the runners we have who have got a power meter, and we have a discount for any coached athlete on it. It's very handy. They use a slightly different calculation. Most of the variables which are in-house, so that means we can't recreate it. But the numbers are very easy to see. So you can see if I look at my Thursday here, it's Thursday 18th in this calendar, it says 43 running stress score, and I had planned 46. So although their formula is not exactly the same in our Excel sheet and what Stride is using, it's ballpark the same. And because they have this calendar function, it's very easy to say, well, the day before it was 15 and the day before it was 20. So if I go in and look at my plan, I had 28 planned the day before, and that is actually just a data entry error on my part there. So let's just fix that. I must have been typing away here in the background. So actually, no, I had 20 planned. I did 15. Okay, so I fell a little bit short on the Wednesday. I had 22 planned on Tuesday. Okay, now of course the Stride app here crashed in the back, but I think it was 20 that it showed. So that allows me then over time to track whether I'm training to the right load. So this is how you can use Stride Power Center and how you can use Training Peaks. If you're using Strava or Garmin Connect, it's not quite as easy, but you can still follow the basic process of saying, well, let's make it a habit to go in and compare how did all these goals I had in terms of the subjective effort, the power, the heart rate, the pace, how did that actually compare with what I really did, and see, do I regularly train too much or too hard? If you don't do that, then it doesn't really matter what training plan you're using at all. Could be crafted by the best coach in the world. It's probably not going to be effective because we're not training to plan, we're just pretending to be.